Welcome back to Inside Strathroy. I'm Shannon Churchill, and I'm sitting with a local author, Willy Nywening. That's a mouthful, actually,
Yes,
to
it
say.
is, yeah.
Welcome to the show, Willy.
Thank you so much.
Tell me a bit about yourself, and are you a Strathroy native?
I'm not a Strathroy native. I came to Strathroy in 1973 to teach here for a year, and then my plans were to go overseas, but fortunately I met my husband Dick, and the rest is history. I grew up in Chatham, Ontario, and when I was 6, I, with my parents, immigrated to Canada. I remember walking down Pier 21 on the plank into the, we've gone back and seen the wonderful displays there. So I grew up there as an immigrant child, and a lot of immigrants there, same as in Strathroy, lots of Portuguese and Dutch people here as well. So went to school there, went to teachers college, started teaching there, and then eventually came to Strathroy.
So how long have you been married, and what is your family like?
We've been married for 40 years. We have 4 beautiful children, 3 great in-laws, 8 wonderful grandchildren. And so we're just really, really blessed to be a part of this community and to have the family that we do.
And I understand you were an English teacher, so when did you discover your love for writing?
Many, many years ago. I was somewhat of an introspective child, very shy, and I found that keeping a diary helped me to do all of the, do and say all of the things that I couldn't say to my peers or to adults in the world at the time. So it goes back a long way.
So you've just finished your first book. What's it called, and can you take me through the process of writing it?
Okay. It's called The Journey Home, and it's taken me 15 years to finish it, which I know is a long time. I started it shortly after my father passed away because he was the inspiration for the book. He was an orphan, and he wouldn't talk about his experiences at all. So I wrote, and then I would leave it sometimes for 2 or 3 years at a time. The whole time, when I started teaching at SDCI, and Lorraine Jardine and I became friends, she said, you have to finish that thing. So we worked on it, and then we didn't. And finally, about a year ago, she said, look, either do it or forget about it. So we did it. And yeah, it took us 9 months to do all the editing and everything else, but it was done.
So how much time do you think was spent on the research, and what's the premise behind the book?
The theme basically is that it's maybe a little bit about the nature-nurture argument. We're all products of where we've been and what we've done, and certainly the 2 children in the story, they're orphans. Like my father was an orphan when he was 7, and so it's about what they experience and how that makes them the people that they become. Not only them, but all of the other characters as well.
And how have you found the journey home from the beginning when you decided to start to the end? What were some of the highlights, and what were some of the pitfalls?
The pitfalls was just getting back at it, and the editing and the editing and the editing. Editing is a lot of work. I would rather be writing than editing, but that's a big part of the process. So just having the courage, I think, to actually finally do it and put yourself out there. That's a little bit scary, but that's what it's about if you're going to write. Right?
And how much of the book is fact and how much of it is fiction?
It's all fiction. Although when I was teaching, I used to tell my students that they could only write from their own experiences. And so the town is called Strathroy, which obviously is a fictional town, but it seems to be a lot like the Strathroy that we live in. The house that is described in the book is the house that we lived in on Front Street, and so some of the landmarks are similar, but I never knew what happened to my father because he would never speak about his life as an orphan. I think it must have been very sad because he was a very stern, structured kind of person, and it wasn't until our grandchildren were born that he sort of opened up and became himself. When his sister died, he cried, and that was the first time I saw him cry, and I thought, I asked him about it, and he would never speak about it. So I always felt there was a lot that had happened to him that he just couldn't talk about. So that's where the story comes from. So it's all fiction, but certainly some of my experiences as a teacher and my experiences in life are part of the sort of interwoven into the story as fiction.
And as a writer, that's really one of the few things that you can only do by yourself. So did you find it a lonely project, and did you ever get like discouraged along the way?
It is a lonely project, but I'm the kind of person who doesn't mind being alone. I'm quite comfortable with myself and being alone. So often I write when we're on vacation. And my husband likes to sit by the pool. I like to sit with my laptop and write. So that works well. It's frustrating because of it's hard work. You know, I used to tell my students, edit, 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 and then I had to take my own advice. So that was sometimes a little harder than I would have liked. So.
And what's the response been to the book?
Amazing. The people, the community in Strathroy has just been incredible. The library did our official opening, and it was a standing room only event, and the Middlesex County Library, they've just been wonderful. The gentleman downtown at Mainly Books has had the book in the store, and we've done book signings at chapters, and so it's just been really quite humbling, actually, overwhelming.
Now, are there plans for a sequel, or do you have plans for a second book of any topic?
The sequel, my stories play in my head, and so the story's playing in my head, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a good thing because the ideas are there. It's a bad thing because it keeps me up at night. So I have a pad by the side of the bed, and I write things down, and so it's coming, but I'm not sure when.
And where can people purchase a copy?
Mainly Books in Strathroy has copies. The bookstore in Mount Bridges has copies. There are copies at Chapters North, across from Masonville in London, and Amazon, and Chapters Online, any of the online sites, you could order it there as well.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your 15-year journey, and congratulations for finishing it. I look forward to reading it. I haven't read it yet, but I really do look forward to reading it. I want to thank you, and best of luck.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me here. And like I said, the Strathroy community is just another part of the community that's been so supportive, and it's just been great. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're quite welcome. And that does it for Inside Strathroy for today. I'm Shannon Churchill on behalf of Chris Soares and the Rogers crew. Thank you for watching.